Welcome to War Journal, Flames of War. And this podcast is our thoughts and discussions about the Flames of War game and other related interests. This episode is brought to you by Tracy George and Chaos Magic. We are not claiming to be experts of the game, but just wanted to have a casual conversation about Flames of War. Without any further delay, we now make our advance onto the podcast. And here are your hosts, Tracy and Arthur.
This is Tracy.
And I'm Arthur.
Welcome to War Journal, Flames of War, episode 26. Out with the old, in with the new. Wait, World War II is back. Yoohoo! What's on tap for today's episode, Arthur?
This week we have 5 topics of interest. We'll look at some West German previews on front page news. I'll talk about some issues assembling the VAS and our hobby. And that's new. We'll look at some movement rules. Tracy reviews his newest purchase and Recon. And we end with a discussion on Gale Force 9's newest skirmish game and more war.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Battlefront front page news.
All right, they updated the page of the Team Yankee website. Not very many updates.
It's not very many, but, well, it's other people talking about previews of the West Germans, and those are interesting when you go to those.
Yeah, the one we kind of were talking about before we started was the I guess it's Tornado.
Yeah, I've been mentioning it before.
Yep. And I was like, oh, it's 4 to hit, has a 5 save. That kind of sucks. But then I saw somebody post about its salvo.
Yeah, like I saw that, I was like, that's not that good. Then they pointed out, like, oh yeah, that's top.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
So my tanks have 2 top armor. My AA or something like that would have 1.
Yeah.
I think you're about the same situation.
Yeah.
So if this thing attacks, it's a salvo, which means it's the huge template.
They gotta be close though, because it doesn't have much range. But
yeah, what is the range? 6 inches. So they're going to hit by some AA.
Yeah.
Easy to hit, hard to say. But if it gets through, anti-tank 8 on top armor.
That is crazy. That's the most powerful salvo this game has seen yet.
Yeah, because we went through. You have something that has 2. I have a couple things that have 3 anti-tank, and you have something else that has 4. And that's it.
Yeah, and since it is once per game, it's like, that's not worth it. That is worth it.
Yeah, because this also isn't once per game. The salvo.
I think it's once per game.
It doesn't say next to it. Compared to, like the Hind here. Salvo, 1 shot.
Oh my.
So this Tornado, if it comes in and survives all the AA, it can do another salvo.
Oh
of
my.
anti-tank 8. Now, its firepower, pretty good too.
Yeah.
3+, because ours is like 6, I think, 6+.
Yeah, our salvo is pretty much for. Actually, I don't know what our salvo is. We've never used it.
No, I never, because we don't run a lot of mech. Well, we do have vehicles that have light armor, but we're normally, we haven't ran it that much. With anti-tank 3 and stuff like that, it's like,
But, oh my, that's nasty.
I think you're, except for like your Cobra, I think your Cobra may have a 5+ firepower. The others have 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their helicopters just pretty much just seem like it has the, like our version of the tow missile.
Yeah, it's basically another Cobra. It's got the 100 killer rule. It has, the problem I see with this one is it has no way to defend itself. Is like Hinds come in to do AA this thing.
Yeah,
it has no way to defend itself if I come in to shoot it.
Yep, it has no protection.
4s to hit and 5s. So it's pretty consistent. They're both 4s to hit and 5s to save on both the helicopter and the Tornado. Yeah. What is that? A PAH? P-A-H?
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
I have no idea. Yet the anti-tank is a little bit better than the tow. Because the tow is, I think, it's 21. So that's 23.
3+ heat and guided. Well, they can send it after aircraft. +1 to hit. If it moves, though, it can't shoot. So
yeah.
Well, that 100 killer, you're normally not going to move it. They do have a couple of AA, like the Soviets have a couple of AA.
Yeah.
They do too. I don't.
The Jeopard.
Oh my gosh, anti-tank 11.
Oh, yeah, that's going to
This is the Gepard, just to let people know, the Gepard.
Yeah, that's going to just shred just non-heavy tanks so far.
5 if it's halted, 4 if it moves, with a 28-inch range. Does it have radar? No. Oh, yes, it does.
Yes.
So it can shoot 32 inches at aircraft. The other one's the Roland. So the Gepard's kind of like a Shilka.
What's the rule for radar?
32 inches against aircraft.
Is it just flat, or is it just plus a
Just-
certain amount?
Just 32 inches.
Hmm.
So it goes from 28 inches or 32. So it gained 4. As far as I know, because all the radars I've seen is 32 inches.
Well, because all the other our range is 20.
Yeah. Well, maybe this be different. I don't know. It's got radar though.
Let me look
I
it
think
up.
Okay, I found it. It is on page 69. And weapons equipped with radar have a range 32 inches and do not suffer the usual +1 penalty to hit for ranges over 16 when
Okay.
shooting at aircraft. So it's got
You're
a
right.
better normal range against, I mean, like it can go against BMPs or AA, other AA.
Yeah, so that is really good.
Yeah, 4+ firepower, not bad. Actually pretty good compared to like 5+ I think I have for like my Shilkas.
Everything else is 5+ except for your Gophers.
Yeah. So that's kind of like a Shilka in a way, and then the Roland is kind of more like a Gopher, but it gets 3 shots.
Yep, I saw someone like talk about that, and the response was it has automatic reloaders. Whereas, like, someone asked how long it take a Gopher to reload, it's like 2 minutes because I guess they gotta get out, and so that's why the rate of fire is higher.
I just realized it's well, I don't think being guided AA, I don't know if this is going to be like the Gopher. See, with the Gopher, I can't shoot at infantry or tanks. I can only shoot at aircraft. I guess I can shoot at infantry if they don't move and they're in a building. I can shoot them with the Gopher. Otherwise, it's just aircraft only. This one has no anti-tank dash for the Roland. So I don't know if it's going to have some special rule.
No, guided AA cannot target tank or infantry teams.
Which rule is that one?
Guided AA.
Ah, that's why. So this is like a Gopher. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to get in my mind what these are like. So the Gepard's kind of like a Shilka, but better. The Roland's like a Gopher, but I think probably better.
Yeah, it has a higher rate of fire.
4+ firepower. Yeah. It has better armor too.
Better armor.
What is it hit on 4? Oh, I think that's going to be consistent with West Germany hit on 4s.
So guided is you can only shoot at
Guided AA.
No, just guided.
Just guided, okay.
Is where you can shoot at infantry that have to be in a building. Guided AA is just air. We cannot shoot at ground stuff.
Ah, okay. And didn't see anything for the men, maybe an upgrade or something that they can go anti-tank. Well, it looks like he has an anti-tank here.
Well, they're guided
48.
AA.
Oh, okay. So,
That
wow.
they only can shoot at air. Man,
Wow,
West Germany is just, I hate your air.
Wow, yeah, it'd be Afghanistan would. Oh boy. Then the Jaguar. I think in Britain they say Jaguar.
Jaguar 1.
Yep. I'm just looking at anti-tank 23. So it's like a BMP. If it moves,
Yeah.
it can't shoot. But 23, that's better than my BMP.
Front of 9.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Wow.
Side of 4. Those are some, compared to the BMP and the M113s, those are nice.
Now the Jaguar 2 looks like it has same armor except for you don't have top. You got a 0 top.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the weapon here.
It's weak.
Oh, anti-tank. It's weaker.
It's weaker.
Why would...
I'm not sure why 22 is weaker. No, this is a cheaper model.
Well, it has one less machine gun too. So the Jaguar 1 has a better missile and has one more machine gun, and it has better top armor. Tank unit, one has infrared, the other has thermal imaging.
Oh.
So the Jaguar 1 has infrared, the Jaguar 2 has thermal imaging. Both of them have forward defense, which I have no idea what forward defense is.
That's a new rule to us.
Maybe it's like gone to ground or something.
Interesting.
Okay. And that's it. So that's kind of what we wanted to hit was the anti-tank stuff. the anti-aircraft and then the aircraft on the West Germans.
But, I guess the Leopard was in another post.
Yeah, there was tanks and they get Recon. So
it's probably the Leopard 2.
Yeah, so here's the Leopard 2
or Leopard 1. I mean, the Leopard 2 is the new king of the hill for main battle tanks.
Oh, do you know what? You got two different HQs. I'm looking at this. The first time I really looked at it. You got an HQ that's a Leopard 2, or you can go to an HQ that's a Leopard 1.
But the Leopard 1 is like a light tank.
Yeah, Front Armor 9, which is just like the Jaguar.
Yeah. Which
worse side. Isn't that worse, or is that the same?
No, I think
it might be the same.
It might be the same.
What's its anti-tank? 19. Oh, there's our men. Okay, so here's the men, the mech. So if you go to the site that has the tanks, it has men, and they do have some anti-tank stuff. And their transports, Spearhead. So they get Spearhead also with the LUCHS, Lux.
Yeah.
Use the Spearhead, Lux.
I'm not going to try.
Whatever LUCHS stand, however you say that. I don't even want to say this one. FUCHS transport. You know this what's going to start happening at game tables.
Yeah, that's real easy to mess up.
Okay.
But yeah, like West Germany looks interesting. If nothing else, they're going to be way different from either the U.S. and the Soviets.
I'm just wondering, you're fighting for, I don't have enough points for this and this. What am I going to take? I think West Germany's going to be in the same, if not worse, situation.
Except for I think they're going to have a lot of cheap options compared to the U.S. Because like the Leopard 1, that should be really, really cheap. Of course, the Leopard 2 is 14 points.
Is it really?
Yeah. Or
I thought it was 11.
Maybe it was 11.
I don't remember. I know it was more than 8, which was the 8. Yeah,
it was more than 8. But with that increased points, is like that cannon is just like, ow.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to roll, I think, if it's within 16, I think I have to roll 5 just to glance. I think it's one higher than the Abrams.
Yeah, it's 21. That was right on the tanks.
Yeah, I just left the tanks, didn't I?
Oh, 22.
Yeah, and I think your Abrams are like 21.
20.
Really? Oh, I think it's me that's 22. Or, wait. No, I have less. I'm more armored, but less tank.
You should be higher. Because I think you're front 16, but you have an anti-tank of 20. Or, actually, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. I have lower armor, but better gun. You have a worse gun, but better armor. So it kind of equals out.
Yeah.
I am a 22. So we're equal, but it has more range.
Yeah, and it's shooting at Soviets, that hurts so much more.
Yeah, because when you shoot at me, it's only a 20.
Yeah.
So we're looking at, if you get within 16, it's 6s just to glance. If it's beyond 16, it's 5s to glance for me. With it's 2+ firepower. And they got advanced stabilizers, which probably means the same thing as America. Go 14 inches, which, shows up there, tactical 14. And a laser rangefinder, so they're not taking a penalty to hit over 16. So, I think they just want to move in with those tanks as close as they can.
Yeah, those are some nasty stuff. Those are going to be the new king of the beast.
Yeah, but you're not going to run that many, so.
You really don't need that many with that much power.
Oh, 18. Kind of just do one more comparison. Okay. So what's the front on an Abrams?
Is 18.
18. So they're the same. So
I think the side on an Abrams is 8, so it's the side is a little worse.
Yes, it is. And they have the Chobram armor, which is same as yours.
All right.
So I can take out the Leopard 2 as easily as I can take out an Abrams. As far as front armor.
But they could take you out much easier.
Yes. But they won't have as many.
Which is unlike the Abrams. So, yes, I'm really excited about the... Oh, yeah, I guess we didn't see it, but the other thing that's tracked by eye is their artillery is the M109. It's like the M109E, but I would think they should be.
Well, I went to the AA. The only AAs they showed was the Gepard and the Roland. And then those men, the Fliegerfaust Gruppe.
Yeah.
They had the red eye team with a 48-inch shot, 3 if they don't move, guided AA, 5+ firepower. So, yeah, that was the only AAs I saw were those 3 things.
Artillery, not AA.
Oh, artillery. So it looks like M109G.
Yeah. So
okay.
I'm using the M109, so I'm not sure what difference they're going to be. But the base stats look the same.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty close. I'm looking at just the artillery, and I think it's the same for the artillery. They do have an AA machine gun. They're brutal. Well, I think all artillery are brutal when they shoot straight shot. Slow firing smoke bombardment. So I don't know if there's going to be much difference between this and yours.
They have the machine gun's different because mine have the 50 caliber. They have a weaker gun.
Oh, they do.
Oh,
with a 6+ firepower.
Oh, and their gun is weaker. My straight shot is 15. Theirs is 12.
And you they're both 1+ firepower. Brutal, slow firing. They both have the same effect. Brutal, slow firing, and smoke. So yeah. The artillery shot, you shoot further, but I don't think there's going to be a difference between 88 inches and 96 inches.
Yeah.
in this on the table.
So, and I don't know if they're going to have the same kind of upgrades that the U.S. have, but I'm definitely looking forward to West Germany now.
Our hobby.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about what we've been up to modeling-wise, and for me, it's nothing.
Well, I'm still trying to assemble stuff, and I've been haven't gotten around to it as soon as I like. But last night, I finally got around to starting putting together the VAS, and that was such a pain in the neck. Because I mentioned before that they don't have an assembly guide on there.
Right.
So the only thing I could do is use the back of the box, and that was horrible. For one thing, is like I didn't know that the VAS have men in them. Like there's a men in the gun.
Okay.
And while looking at how to assemble, for one thing, there was that men piece. I could not tell what that was, and I was looking through everything. I just could not figure that out until eventually I looked through some of the pictures and realized, is that a helmet? Is that a face down there? Because he's actually really low. He's usually atop of the vehicle. He's down in there.
Oh.
So he's really easy to miss. But I finally realized, there's a men in there. So that's what that is. Because the men that came with the box set, I thought that was for if you make a normal M109 and the machine gun. So that took me by surprise. But the other thing that was just so annoying is the guide is not very well. For one thing, it has a different front plate, and I have to strain my eyes to see what's the orientation of that.
Oh.
And the other thing is trying to figure out where it goes, because looking at the picture, it kind of looks like it goes flat on the bottom, but it doesn't go there. It goes up a little higher.
Oh.
So that's but by far the most annoying part was the antennas. Because looking at the picture I make it look like, it attached to this radar part, and the radar attached to the main gun.
Uh-huh.
And I just could not figure out how to put those antennas on until I finally went to the website, and they had some pictures up close of it, and I was looking at them and realized, there's where the antennas attach. That's not what the pictures show. The antennas attached right to the main gun, not to, but the image they show make it look like it attached to something else, and you attach that to the main gun. So it was so frustrating trying to figure that thing out that I actually felt nauseous. But now I have it mostly put together, and finishing it should be straightforward now, and hopefully the other 3 be just as straightforward. Also there's some other odds and ends, but that was the big note that was just I needed to mention. That really, I might talk about get a production guide somewhere because it kind of needs one. Because that it's just so hard to see the back, and it's not very good.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I want to say.
That's new.
All right, so we've been doing some tutorials for like YouTube, and I decided I was going to do this before. When I did the Flames of War tutorials, I didn't write down, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I did not write any of those notes down. So when it came to talking about rules you didn't know, I was like, I wish I would have wrote. So as we've been going through this, I've been writing down notes. And one of them came up that it's moving near the enemy. And the rule is on page 31. And basically, you can't move within 8 inches of any enemy if you dash. We talked about that. Yeah. But the other one is infantry can't move within 2 inches of any enemy team.
Visible enemy.
Yeah. And nobody else can move within 2 inches of them if they're visible in the movement step. Now, the assault step's different. And you can't move through enemy teams under any circumstances. There are circumstances where this changes. And the thing that kind of got us was we were looking at the fact that was put out, and they talk on movement, and somebody asked about aircraft. Can aircraft move within 2 inches of a enemy model, even if it can see? And the answer was, yes, you can. Ground troops do not restrict the placement of flying aircraft. The only restrictions are placing them is finding a suitable place to put the base of the flight stand.
So you could place the stand down. You could place it there.
Right. And there's limits where you can put that. I mean, like linear terrain and stuff like that. But so where they say, like, under any circumstances, not true. Aircraft. So that means jets and helicopters.
Yeah.
They can go within 2 inches of anybody. So they can be actually touching, their base can actually touch an enemy tank or an infantry team.
That's something I never really thought about. Also, the fact that it says visible enemy team.
Yeah, it's just kind of, so if you're on opposite sides of a tall wall, you can be right next to each other. Which, it makes sense in real life.
Yeah. It's just kind of weird. But there's no restriction from pretty much tank to tank.
That's true. It has to do with infantry.
Yeah. Because I just noticed it's weird. That means there's some exception. I'm like, okay, what's the exception? Tank to tank.
Yeah. Yep. So it's just remember infantry. Nobody can go within 2 inches of them except for aircraft, or if you're not visible to them.
Yeah,
that would be the other thing.
All right, soldier, at ease. What is it?
Sir, I just got the Recon report in. There's some interesting developments in it. The report says...
All right, I normally transport my models in just like generic GW rectangular foam. It's got those little slots for the men to go into, and I generally use that because when I'm done with the game and I'm not going to play it really anymore, I'll take those models out and put the new models in, and I don't have to buy any more foam. I had a problem with Team Yankee, though, because the models are bigger, it seems. So they don't fit in those slots very well, and the helicopters were just a headache because of their size. And the rotors and everything else.
And they easily break.
They easily break. So when we were down in Oklahoma playing, one guy had some battle foam that he purchased that was specifically made for Team Yankee. And I was like, oh, that sounds kind of neat. But when I was looking at some foam that was somebody was posting like on the Facebook for Team Yankee, it was like $40 for one tray. And I was like, I'm not going to pay $40. He's like, no, it was like $12, $14 or something like that. I said, oh. So I went to Battle Foam, and they do make Team Yankee specific Battle Foam. And we're talking from about $13, says $12.99, might as well say $13 to $15 per tray. And I was like, okay, I think I can live with this. So I ordered some, and they just came in today. And wow, if you ever get a chance to buy battle foam for your models, and they're specifically made for that type of model, get it. I mean, like I paid most of the things I bought were like $13 each. I think I bought 6 trays of stuff, and most of them were $13.
So now you got foam for your entire army?
Except for the carnations. And I was like, I miscalculated that because there was no tray up here for carnations.
Wow.
Because they had it for like the tanks, the infantry, the BMPs, but there's the jets and the helicopters, but there's nothing for like my anti-aircraft stuff, like my Shilkas and Gophers and the carnations. So I just ordered what they had. Well, it turns out that the infantry one, which could be like this BMP 1, the carnations and the anti-aircraft stuff fits in those.
Oh.
So if I would have just ordered that one more tray that holds the BMPs, I would be fine.
Oh.
And so everything fits in it really nice. Like the Hind helicopters, 2 go in a tray. They have a place to put the main rotor and a place to put the 2 stands in that one tray. So I had to buy 3 of those to get my 6 Hinds. That was the most expensive one. The tanks, great. They just slide right in. You don't have to take the turrets off or anything. And they're protected down in the little cubby hole. Men got the little cubby hole, the Hinds. There's only one problem, and that's the Frogfoot. Not so much the Frogfoot model where it slides in, it's the stand. Where the Hind stand has a slot that it lays down, so you can put other things on top of it and not worry about it. The stand's laying down, it's out of the way. The Frogfoot, you can't lay it down. And it's got that really long stem on it. So it's the way this is made, it's either you don't glue it together and just plop the base straight down and lay the stand in its little slot. 'Cause it's got a slot for the stem, but then you can't use the stand because it's going to have to be glued together because it doesn't snap in or anything. It just sits in there and flops around if you don't glue it.
It'll sit there fine. The problem I had, because when we went to Oklahoma, the Cobras, one of your stands, it came out. And it would just sit there just fine. It was a pain in the neck to move it.
Yeah. So I don't understand why they laid down the stand for the Hind, because even they have one that's for Team Yankee and Flames of War. It's a universal flight stand for just the foam, for just the stand mainly. And they're all laying down. But some reason when they got to this long stem one, no, don't connect together, keep it apart and put it in here.
That's weird.
But otherwise, I'm happy I bought this stuff.
Yeah. I still like what I'm using to carry them, which is like Games Workshop's like new set that they only release for like a year.
Yeah, it's got that wavy, so you can, well, it's not like from what I saw was, it's got the slots. They're kind of a long slot.
Yeah.
But it's kind of got a wavy, but you can move those sides.
Move and pull them up so you can put things underneath it. So it's really changeable. But what I don't like is for my A10s, because it just feels like I have to put it underneath a ribbon, and it feels like a missile might get caught on something and pull it off. So if I get body foam, the only thing I want to get them for is like the one for the A10s.
Well, they do have it.
And it doesn't bother me about the films not fitting in there, because I can put them in my carrying case. Even though that is kind of annoying. But
yep, there it is. And like the others, it's $12.99.
Okay.
So it's going to hold 4 Warthogs, and it looks like, two, that's interesting, 2 stands. But I guess you can stack one. If you don't glue the stems on them, you can stack them. There's 2 holes to put the bases. So it looks like you can stack some of the bases on top of each other, but that means you're not gluing the stem on, which I don't see.
Okay, so it won't bother me because I'm carrying them someplace else. Not to mention that if I have all 4, that won't work. But yeah, so 13. Yeah, that would work for me. $13.
And I just don't know. Of course, there's going to be shipping. So, but yeah, if I'm after every weekend doing a demo and transporting them in that stupid way I've been doing it, I'm going to be so happy with this.
Yeah. Well, if you make another order make another order to get the stuff for your carnations, I might just give you $13 to get me the.
Oh, we can split the shipping.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
Yep. We can split the shipping, make it cheaper that way. Yeah, because I think I want to order this BMP 1 or 2 foam tray because that will hold my carnations and my AA.
So this looks like a really good deal.
Yeah.
More war!
Really?
All right. I didn't think I was going to get into this game of tanks. The World War II skirmish game from Gale Force 9, which basically Flames of War, people. Because I thought it was going to be like Tank Ace.
Yeah.
You just play like Flames of War with just tanks, is what I thought.
It's a radically different game.
Very different.
And it's really simple.
Yep. Well, I think they're trying to grab hold of board gamers and people that like the Star Wars X-Wings and stuff like that. And not so much, they got games that if you're an avid war gamer, this is what you're going to play. If you're just a casual player, they can try to pull you in with this game because how simple it is.
Yeah. Though, how simple it is does concern me a little bit because, well, I still need to play more of it, but I'm worried about there being a perfect strategy. I forget there's a term for it when there's really not that many really good strategies.
Mm.
And that's what I worry about seeing. But of course, that might change with more cards, with new units, new abilities, as well as new countries. But that was the big thing I was worrying about.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple game. We played 100 points.
Yeah.
So you have 100 points to buy your tanks. That's all you play is tanks. And then you can buy special abilities or upgrades. So this tank goes faster or it gets more shots or
Add
you
crew.
had Vitman. Yeah, you had a crew member, a gunner, or a commander, And some of those things are secret until you use them. So the opponent goes, oh, he has a card upside down there. What is on that tank?
Yeah.
If I shoot it, am I just wasting my shot?
Yeah, they definitely need more cards because, especially with some of the special characters, even though you can hide them, like they're the only ones going to beat that point total.
Right, because there was one, I think you had like
It's 11
points. That's got to be Vitman.
Yeah, and then the 8, that's the other character, and I guess there's some, might be some other 5, but then not many. So it's most like, so they really need more cards. So if nothing else, they're like, okay, does he have Vitman or do they have this?
Yep.
And be kind of cool if have them be as different abilities as possible, or yeah, because you don't want them too similar. Because then you're like, well, he's either this and this, and it does the same thing. So,
well, from what I got, there's expansions for it. So like I can buy like the Persian expansion, and from what I get, there's a couple of duplicate cards from the base set, but then there's like one like a hero card or something in there.
oh, is that the new stuff in there?
Yeah.
Hmm.
One of the things also is each country has its own rule that covers their whole force. So it isn't like this tank has this country's rule, and like this Sherman has this USA rule, but this other Pershing does not. Yeah. If it's a USA tank, it has this special rule. If it's a German tank, it has this special rule.
Yeah, I need to play German versus someone else because when we play German versus US, I kept wondering, I wish I had the US rule because they just look better.
Well, it does make me, when I was playing US, kind of explain how it goes. Your attack dice never really change. If you roll 4 dice, you're generally always going to roll 4 dice. 11. If you roll 5 dice, you generally are always going to roll 5 dice.
Like the only thing that can change it is you have an upgrade or you have a bad effect that would change it. Otherwise, just roll your dice.
Okay. Then you roll them 4, 5s, and 6s is what you're looking for. So remove the 1, 2, and 3s. Now the person on defense has an armor for their tank, so they get that many dice. Normally it's a 1, sometimes 2. Then how many times did your tank move? 1 or 2? Or 0?
Or 3.
You're right.
For fast vehicles.
So that's how many defense dice gets added on. because the more you move, the harder you are to hit. And then how many movements did the attacker do, because they're not going to be as stable to make that shot, so that adds to your defense dice. And then there may be some other modifiers like concealment and stuff like that. So you roll those.
Max 6 for defense.
Very good. Yep, max 6. Look for 4, 5s, and 6s also. And then you kind of cancel each other as a way to cancel each other out. USA has a special rule that when they move, they are counted as one less for giving you the enemy defense dice. So if a person gets 1 defense die, they didn't move, and a German tank moved, it's going to add 1 more die, so they'd be at 3. Yeah. If a Sherman moves 1, you subtract 1 from that, you don't get a bonus die.
Yeah.
Because I think it's something to do with they call it gung-ho, but I think it's more to do with stabilizers or something like that.
Yeah, I found it really annoying because you was always moving, and you always got the benefit of it and not the penalty.
Yeah. Now, if you don't move as the attacker, if you roll really bad on the attack, you pick all those attack dice up. Now, you have to pick them all up and re-roll them. So you get a re-roll if you don't move. So it's like, do I want the re-roll, or I can add 1 to my defense, but it does not add 1 to yours. So I'm thinking Americans seems like they're always moving.
Yeah. The re-roll is nice, but I don't think it's that good to always do it unless you have a really big shot, like 5 or 6 shots. And it's good for a backup plan, but not moving is a really big deal when you get shot at.
Shot at, yep, because you don't get to add defense dice because you didn't move.
Yeah. So
Germans is the Blitzkrieg.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to take the Stormtrooper move from Flames of War, but it's, to me, so much worse because in Flames of War, I get to shoot, I get to blitz, I get to do the Stormtrooper move, and then you get to shoot. But in here, we shoot at the same time.
Right.
And then I move.
Yeah.
And I don't see the use for it because it's an initiative system.
Yep.
A static initiative system.
Yep. So there's 3 phases. There's a movement phase, a shooting phase, and then I think they call it command phase. I was calling it maintenance. I think it's called a command. So your tanks move, my tanks move, and it's all initiative order, which won't get too much into, but it's kind of a neat where you know when you're going to go, and you have to go at that time. But it may be you'd have a tank go, and then I have 2 tanks going, and you have a tank go, and I have 1, and then you have 2 tanks go. So there's an order there.
Because each tank has its own initiative.
Right. So the lower ones have to go first. Then when you get to the shooting step, so you're done moving, everything's done moving, whoever's got the best initiative gets to shoot first. So whoever moved last gets to shoot first, and you go down.
Yeah.
Then you get to that command phase, and this is where if you got some injury thing that can be repaired, you make a repair roll. With Blitzkrieg,
Germany can do 1 move instead of doing a repair.
Yeah, so you get a little extra move to set up for next turn. Where America gets I get a defense die for moving, but you don't get a defense die when I shoot at you because I move. Yeah. If I move 1.
Yeah, because I guess my problem with it, because movement would be nice except for initiative trumps movement. Because you have the better, no matter, I could get to a better position. If you have a better initiative, I have to do my final move before you get to move. So you can always counter me.
Yeah, we did kind of find out that U.S. initiative's pretty good.
Yeah, I thought Germany would be pretty good initiative, but the Shermans is better than everything except for the Panthers. Well, the Panthers.
Okay, so we haven't played, and I do want to play Russia. I want to try the Soviets. And
I want to try. I also want to try Britain.
Okay, so kind of looking at the rule here. So Soviets have what's called coordinated fire. If this tank, so this is the whole Soviet force has this. If this tank shoots at a target that a friendly tank within 1 measuring stick shot at earlier in the phase, it gets 1 extra die for its attack roll. So it's basically they gang up on 1 tank and gain dice. So they're basically, the stick is basically like about 6 inches. So if they're within 6 inches of a tank, now it doesn't say I have to hit.
Yeah, just shot at.
That shot at a target, they get an extra. So I pictured they're just going to be all hoarding together and shooting at the same target and trying to take it down.
Yeah. Russia looks interesting. Yeah, wouldn't mind trying that. Also, wouldn't mind trying Russia versus Germany.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I keep wanting to say T-72.
That would be a
T-34.
little unfair.
T-34. 18 points. Where the Sherman's a 20, and I think your Stugs were what, 15?
Stugs are 15. The Panzer IV, they pretty much Panzer IVHs, are 17. And that's another thing about the Stug G, or whatever the Stug is. Like, the Panzer IV just seems like it's better at every way possible for just being 2 points more.
Well, if you go, okay, picture this. You buy 2 Stugs versus 2 of the Panzers. You save 4 points. You could buy some special ability or an upgrade or something with those 4 points.
It's like, the thing with the upgrades is like you can spend it to buy like plus initiative, and I think the Panzer will still be higher, and it's a turreted tank. It's supposed to be a home mounted.
Well, if you buy enough, you can buy a Vitman. You get a Vitman for free. So buying 5 Stugs, you get a Vitman for free. Kind of deal. I mean, there could be a cost savings that I really want this ability, and the only way I'm going to be able to do it is I have to buy Stugs instead of Panzers to save points.
Yeah, maybe, but it just doesn't seem to be enough of a discount to be worth it.
All right, so the other one was Britain. And so these are new to us. We haven't played Soviet and we haven't played Britain yet. So Britain has semi-indirect fire, so their whole force has this ability. The player may choose to keep one of their die results and re-roll the rest when shooting while stationary with this tank. Now that's interesting because the only difference between this and other forces, because if you don't move, you have to pick up all your dice
and roll.
This one goes,
you get to keep one.
So if you got a 6, you go, I'm going to keep that 6 or a 5 or a 4, whatever you want to keep. So they have the option of just saving one die and rolling it. So from what I get here, Germany is trying to use the Blitzkrieg to get position.
Yeah.
U.S. is I'm just moving all over the place to make it harder for you to hit me, but it doesn't penalize me. Soviets is I'm going to be moving all this stuff together to shoot at one target.
Yeah, concentrate fire on one guy. British,
they're just sitting there. It seems like you don't want to move because you lose their special ability if you move.
Yeah, you don't want to move for your special ability, but not moving sucks. Remember that.
Yeah, it's true because you don't get a defense die.
You don't get the defense
or
die.
2 or 3. It depends on how much you move.
So actually, I'm not sure. British will be interesting because they don't want to move, but it sucks not to move. So I need to see them in action.
So kind of thinking it through, I think U.S. is pretty easy to play. Just move and try to get concealment.
Yeah,
and you get another bonus. You get another die because you move, but they don't get it. As long as you move 1. If you move 2, they get 1 bonus die. You subtract 1 from what you moved. Germany, it's a little bit tricky if you have low initiative.
Yeah, it is really brutal for low initiative. And also, probably, I guess if you play the game more often, I might see the advantages of movement. But I still don't think it trumps initiative. The power of initiative is so powerful in this game.
And then with the Soviets, I don't see them standing still either, because I think they'll want the defense dice. But because they moved, it's giving you defense dice. Yeah. But they're gaining a die if they shoot at the same target and they're within 6 inches of each other. So it kind of balances out. I think they want to move where America can move and pick its target it wants to shoot at. Soviets move, but they're going to concentrate their shot on this target. Because they get that bonus die now, which nullifies the defense die, in a way, kind of balances it back out. Britain, I think Germany and Britain are probably going to be the hardest to play. Because
actually, I think for Soviets, some will not be moving and others will be moving. I think the fast guy will probably move around and then just shoot is like, I don't care. Okay. I'm probably not going to hit.
Good
All my
point.
other tanks got a +1 now.
Good point. So, yeah, I would say America is probably the easiest because you're just going to move normally 1, sometimes 2. Germany, you're just you want high initiative tanks.
Yeah.
I think. Soviet. I just haven't played enough, but I think you're probably right about that. It'll be it's like that maneuver that they do in the military. These guys give covering fire, and these guys move up. Now those guys are forward. They give covering fire. They move up. So it's going to be these tanks move up. These don't. They all shoot. Next turn, these tanks that didn't move, they're going to move up, and they get the ones that didn't move. Don't give a defense die, and they gain an attack die. So I think you're probably right about that. I think they're going to do a staggering movement. It's kind of in between what the Americans doing and what the British, which is, I think British is going to be one of the hardest. Because do you move or do you sit still?
Yeah, you got to decide when you need to move and when you're not. But like, speaking of Russia, I'm just looking at this SU-100. And I was like, 26 points. That's,
with 6 attack dice.
And that's decent. As like, whoa, 6 hit points.
Yeah.
That's really good. 6 attack, 2 defense. Wow. They should have won.
So it's going to be moving first and shooting last. Well, there's one thing about this game is even if your tank is destroyed before it gets shoot, it still gets to shoot. Unless a critical hit says it can't shoot.
Yeah.
So even if you're destroyed, you still get a last gasp and then it's going to be destroyed. So initiative 1, yeah. That's why it's probably so cheap.
Is there any special rule about being initiative 0?
I don't know if there is an initiative 0. Oh, that's the lowest. I think you can go.
0 is the lowest. Okay,
yeah, cool. I got that critical hit on me that
it says it's 0.
Yeah.
I just want to know if there's some special rule that if your initiative is 0, you can't shoot.
I don't think there. No, I didn't see that.
Okay.
Of course, I haven't looked. I kind of want to be surprised, so I didn't look at all the critical hits.
Yeah.
So,
because that would be the other problem with being initiative 1. That if initiative 0, you don't get to shoot. You take any kind of penalty, you can't shoot. But this is definitely something to look at.
Yeah, and it's half hour. I thought it'd be like a half-hour game. I think it's going to be a half hour to an hour long game.
Especially as you add more tanks.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up another episode of War Journal, Flames of War. Your host, Arthur and Tracy, thank you for listening to this episode. You can find us on iTunes. If you like the episode, please subscribe and leave a positive review. You can find us on Facebook at Flames of War. And please like us. In addition, you can follow us on Twitter at warjournal_FOW. You can also find us on YouTube. Search for Tracy George, Flames of War. You can read Arthur's blog at chaosmagicwizards.blogspot.com. Finally, you can email us at warjournalflamesofwar@gmail.com. War Journal Flames of War is all one word, so no spaces are required. Also, please share the show on any social media of your choice. So, until next time, as always, have a good game.